where best friends and next-door neighbors, Willow and Lillian, spill the tea on murder, mysteries, and other things that go bump in the night. So get your favorite teacup ready, and let's get into it. Welcome to Cruelty Podcast. This is Lillian, and with me is Maris.
Hello.
On Not a Monday.
What is this? Where am I? What's going on?
There's no Bigfoot today. There's no alien.
What? Why not?
Because Willow's work schedule was stupid, and you have to fill in.
Okay.
So this is catfishing month. We've been doing this all month, so that's what this case is about.
All right.
I'm going to give a trigger warning for learning developmental disabilities, child abuse, child sexual assault, and I'm not going to put a trigger warning for murder, or else
I am triggered by the murder.
Yeah, you might be. So this case had an update in February of 2023, and it's kind of a more recent case. I've noticed with the catfishing cases, they're all more recent, and that's good, I guess. I mean, I do think, though, and I've said this to Willow before, that it's actually harder to find information on recent cases, mostly because a lot of the people are still alive, and I think, information comes out over time. Like, when we do these older cases, I feel like I get way more information. Sometimes, and then other time, I don't know.
Maybe reporting's bad, or the search engine's bad.
I don't know, because this case, there's some parts of it that it's clear why there's not information, and I'm fine with that. But yeah, so this month and last month have been really hard on me personally, as it dealt with so much violation and stalking. And I didn't really think about the connection between catfishing and stalking, but I feel like stalking is present in almost every case of this type.
They hold hands for sure. Yeah.
They do. And I don't think you can catfish someone without stalking them. But this case involves no stalking of the victim. On to the case. This is the case of Cynthia Hoffman. On June 4th, 2019, the body of 19-year-old Cynthia Hoffman was found in a creek or river. Some sources said river, some said creek, so you get either or. In Thunderbird Falls, a popular trail located just north of Anchorage, Alaska. Just the day before, Cynthia had been reported missing by her father. When her body was found, her ankles had been duct taped together, and she'd been shot in the back of the head at close range, like execution style. Cynthia's father, Timothy Hoffman, told police that Cynthia had gone out with her best friend on June 2nd and had never come back. Timothy also told authorities that his daughter had a developmental disability and had the mind of a 12-year-old child. Cynthia could be very naive and trusting. Cynthia was born on October 8, 1999 to Timothy and Barbara Hoffman. She was known as Cici to friends and family and was a sweet girl. Yes, she had a slight developmental disability, but she had an incredible work ethic, according to her father. She met every challenge that faced her and never gave up. Cynthia graduated high school from Roberts Service High School in 2018, and she had some part-time jobs in food service, but her favorite job was working with her father in his handyman business. She just loved working with her dad, and she was good at the job. Just before she went missing, she had completed a big job at her father's handyman business and was supposed to have picked up the money she earned to be used on a shopping trip with her sister. On June 2nd, she texted her dad that she was on her way to pick up her paycheck and that she was meeting up with her sister first. But Timothy never heard from his daughter again. When he didn't hear from Cynthia, Timothy immediately knew something was wrong. His calls went unanswered, and he was the type of dad that had this policy, like he didn't care where you are or what you were doing. If he called, you answered. And I've watched a lot of interviews with this guy, and he seemed to be a very protective dad.
Yeah, and she's disabled, so it makes sense.
He's concerned for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he was like that with all of his kids, because he had several. He always made them answer when he called. It was kind of the house rule, and Cynthia had never broken in.
Yeah.
Not once. So when his calls went unanswered, he knew something was terribly, terribly wrong. So he immediately reported her missing. He made sure to tell police about her learning disability. But later, authorities would claim that Timothy never told them about his daughter's disability, or else they would have put her on a vulnerable persons list, which would have seen more resources dedicated to her search. And this is patently false. Timothy has always been an advocate for his daughter, and the cops, as usual, just
Is
suck.
that a thing? I've never heard of that. A vulnerable person things. Normally they
Okay.
don't give no crap. You know.
I'm going to explain
Uh-huh.
here in a second the policy, and this is kind of nationwide, so this is important information if you ever have a loved one go missing. The benefit of being put on a vulnerable persons list is that the 24-hour wait period to begin a search for a missing adult would have been disregarded. This is done because an elderly person or a person with a disability could be in immediate danger, but I'm not sure it would have made a difference in this case. All the same, it is worth pointing out. Instead, Timothy was told he had to wait 24 hours to report his disabled daughter missing.
Mm-hmm.
This is no longer true and wasn't true then.
Yeah, I always wondered if, because I heard conflicting things. That is a 24-hour thing a myth or not?
It is not, but it is no longer a thing now.
Okay.
Like in the last, I want to say 5 or 6 years.
Yeah. Okay.
Basically, if you have a loved one go missing who is an adult, they can be missing for 30 seconds. You can report them missing. And the police have to take the report. Do not take no for an answer on this one. The rule of the 24 hours thing is out the window, considering the first 24 hours are the most critical time in any missing person's case.
Yeah. Right. Isn't that like the beginning of that show? Like
The first 48?
Yeah.
Well, that's after someone's already been murdered.
Oh,
but,
okay.
yeah. But Timothy didn't know this and had to obey the police. What else is he supposed to do? So he went home, very scared for Cici. Timothy was not content to just wait around for police to take him seriously, so he formed search parties and conducted searches for his daughter himself.
Hell yeah, guy.
He is a motorcycle guy, so he rode on motorcycles and went through the woods, trails, and bike paths. He went to places she would usually have gone, and finally, he went and talked to the last person who was known to have seen Cici alive, her best friend, 18-year-old, that he knew by the name Angela. Angela told him that they'd hung out that day that she went missing. Angela said that after they hung out for a few hours, she dropped her off at the Polar Bear Park at about 4 p.m. There was a playground there, and apparently Cici wanted to go. She had, according to Angela, demanded to be taken there. And this was all done over text. And she said some, sus things like, I hope she comes back safely. She's my best friend.
Yeah, she's real suspicious from the beginning.
Oh, yeah. I'm worried. I love her, too, and I want the best for her. She won't answer me. I think she's ignoring everyone. And I don't trust that guy. And these were all on her own. And this wouldn't be ominous, really, if it was just a friend caring for and being afraid for her friend. But it almost seemed like the responses weren't genuine.
She's making a story.
She was making a story.
Yeah.
Cici had met Angela because they went to the same school. Cici thought Angela was cool, and she wanted to be cool, too. Cici, as stated before, is very trusting and was very kind. They started hanging out all the time, and she talked to her family about Angela, and it was clear that they were close friends. But it was one-sided. Because Angela was the type of person that liked taking advantage of people, especially people who couldn't really fend for themselves, like younger people younger than her. Yeah, she's a real asshole.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And she's just a disgusting human being. Sorry. This person makes me really mad.
Editorializing.
I am, and I don't care. Cici was being deceived. 18-year-old Angela was actually Denali Bremer. Now, Angela or Angel is just what she went by as a nickname, and that wasn't the deception.
She was no angel.
Oh, no. She knew exactly where Cici was, and it wasn't at the Polar Bear Park. On the evening of June 3rd, Anchorage police were contacted by Denali's mother. Her name is Nicole House. Nicole said that on June 2nd, Denali and a man were at her house. She believed the man's name was Anthony. Nicole said that both Denali and Anthony had said that Anthony shot Cici in the head and pushed her dead body into the water. Nicole hadn't seen her daughter since they'd told her what they'd done to Cici. And I just think, why'd you do that? Why are you telling folks?
Yeah.
Shut up. Whatever, they're stupid. The next day, police picked up Denali, and she gave her version of events. Denali said the boy who had been with her was 16-year-old Caden McIntosh. Caden, Cici, and Denali had been smoking weed in the valley, which was in south-central Alaska, about 30 miles north of Anchorage. After getting high, they started driving back to Anchorage. They stopped at a parking lot near Thunderbird Falls because the three of them said they wanted to tie each other up with duct tape and take pictures.
No, they didn't.
Well,
Just-
I disagree, and I'm going to
Okay.
tell you why.
I was
'cause
like, what the?
I have a personal story.
I know you do, but you're weird.
And I just think these were normal kids.
Now, you may hear that and think it's baloney, and in this case, it kind of is. But man, I did some weird shit when I was a teenager. Me and my best friend, Rachel, dressed in thrift store prom dresses, smeared each other with fake blood, and took Polaroids, which we then sprinkled all around the mall for people to find.
I just don't think that the main character or the victim of the story is. It seems like that kind of person.
Well, hold on, I'll get to it.
Okay.
I thought it was funny, like a harmless prank, and it never occurred to me how I could have traumatized someone. Luckily, the pictures looked stupid and fake, and I never got caught. But Jesus.
Yeah, you could get in big trouble because I think that prank has been done before.
It
too.
has, and it's bad, and you are bad if you do it.
Yeah.
At any rate, Denali said they then went into the woods and wrapped duct tape around Cece's ankles and wrists. She said they put duct tape over her mouth, but after this, Cici, according to Denali, started to freak out,
Yeah.
and so they removed some of the duct tape from her wrists and from her mouth.
Yeah.
Cici told Denali and Caden that she was going to call the police and tell them that Denali and Caden had abducted her and sexually assaulted her.
Mm-hmm.
Denali then told authorities that Caden took the gun she had. Why did she have a gun?
Mm-hmm. Right.
It was a 9mm
Well,
handgun.
they're in Alaska. Everybody has a
No,
gun.
they
there.
had a gun for a different reason.
Oh, jeez.
And Caden shot Cici in the back of the head because she said she was going to call police.
Mm-hmm.
Denali then told police that Cici was still moving when Caden put her body in the water.
Mm.
After killing Cici, they fled the scene. Caden instructed Denali to text Cici's sister, who was supposed to meet up with her that evening, and make up a lie about how they dropped her off somewhere. Denali said she did what he said because she was scared of him, which is bullshit, but we'll get to that too. They then went to Polar Bear Park, where they told Cici's sister they dropped her off at, and they proceeded to burn her purse, her ID, some of her clothes, and the gun,
Mm-hmm.
which didn't burn because it's a fucking gun.
Right.
Idiots.
I mean, it might get fucked up a little bit.
Nah, it was fine.
Oh.
Authorities then went to interview Caden McIntosh, and he told a nearly identical story. In his version, he claimed to have blacked out
Mm-hmm.
and couldn't remember the killing, but he
No.
later went back on that and said he remembered shooting her and putting her into the water.
Mm.
He also said that Cici was still moving, so he said he wasn't sure if she died from the gunshot wound or from drowning.
Oh, good. The questions we want.
Yeah, right. Ugh. He said he didn't want Angel to go to prison, and Angel, of course, is Denali, another name she used. In addition to Angela, Caden was clearly trying to cover for her. Now, there's not a lot of information online about Caden, and I'm going to guess that's because at the time of the murder, he was only 16 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and there are protections in place to keep minors and their identities under wraps. But there are a couple things I found out about him, and that is that he was a homeless teenager
Okay.
at the time, and he had no criminal record.
Yeah.
Now, what this tells me
Mm-hmm.
is that Cici, this is a planned murder, and we'll get to why it was planned in a second.
Okay.
But Cici, I mean, not Cici, excuse me,
Angela,
Denali was
yeah.
like, look, I'm 19.
Okay.
You're 16. If you do this murder, you won't go to jail half as long as me if we get caught.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, and while I don't think that these are like criminal masterminds by any
No,
stretch
they
of the
sound like
imagination.
real stupid, actually.
Oh yeah, they're dumb as dirt. I do think that there was a little planning involved.
Mhm.
Well, I know there was, but I do think that was the reasoning, and I do believe that Caden was sweet on Denali,
Yeah.
impressed with her, the older girl.
The older girl, right?
She's 19.
Why?
She's
Well,
cool.
why? What was the reason for this?
Well, we're getting to it
Okay.
because this case is a twist.
Oh, dang.
Indeed. Yeah. So I will say this, like, this is not how the murder went down. Not exactly. There's some truth in their story, but not much. All the same, it paints a clear picture of Denali as a master manipulator, preying on those than her, and in the case of Caden, and though she feels she can outsmart, like Cici. After Caden basically confessed and took all the blame, and after Denali's statement to police, her iPhone was seized for police and investigators to look at. And on her phone, they found child pornography. They found this in text messages between Denali and a contact on her phone listed as Babe. When asked by police, Denali said the man was named Tyler and that he was a millionaire who was living in Kansas. It was someone she'd met online.
Right.
That she was in a relationship with, romantically.
Yeah.
3 weeks before Cici's murder, Tyler and Denali made a deal. If Denali set up the rape and murder of someone, he would pay her $9 million. In text, she agreed to it without hesitation.
Wow.
Like, didn't even ask for no money up front.
She's like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
I'd take half up front, bitch. Oh, I'm not raping and murdering anyone, for starters. Denali didn't just agree to it as lip service either. She began working on this little project right away. She started by finding 4 other teenagers who would assist her with her murder plot. Denali promised that they would be, getting a cut of the $9 million. These 4 were Caden McIntosh, a 19-year-old named Caleb Leland, who let Denali and Caden borrow his truck for Cici's murder in exchange for $500,000. The 2 other kids involved are merely listed as juvenile male and female due to their age, so their names are sealed and not available to the public, and that's fine.
Yeah.
In addition to being charged with Cici's murder, Caden was also charged with sexually assaulting the juvenile female in this case. Like, this is just all terrible.
Now, every bit of this is awful.
The group picked Cici to be the victim and spent 3 weeks planning her murder.
Jesus.
The real scenario of the murder is that Cici likely believed that they were, at first, playing a game, just binding each other in duct tape and taking silly pictures. At some point, Cici clearly realized it wasn't a game and felt like something was off. She started panicking. Denali brought out the gun, which she'd brought specifically to kill Cici with. She had Caden take it either because she couldn't do it or because they'd agreed upon it, ahead of time, which is what I think is true. And she needed her hands free. Once Caden took the gun, Denali started taking pictures and videos of the murder and then later of Cici's body.
Yeah.
These she sent to Tyler, the millionaire, over Snapchat.
Okay.
Now, you're probably wondering, where does the catfishing part of this come in? The answer is Tyler, I think, pretty obviously.
That's right, yeah.
You don't need to be the great mouse detective to figure that out.
I definitely am not.
Oh, no, bless your bones. Yeah. So, he wasn't a millionaire, his name wasn't Tyler, and he wasn't from Kansas. Denali was catfished.
Yeah.
The real Tyler was 21-year-old Darren Schillmiller from Salisbury, Indiana.
I'm going to guess he's not a millionaire.
Oh, no. He was a person of interest in 2018 in a child pornography case. He had been in text chat with a woman in California to discuss his fetish about infants. He wanted pictures of babies and their dirty diapers because he's a nasty fucker.
Yeah, I wish he was...
jettisoned into space?
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
The case was closed and no charges were brought against Darren because life isn't fair. Because if it had been, Cici would still be alive.
Yeah. What the farts?
Oh, I know. He sucks. It gets worse.
No.
Darren found Denali on a dating site, not using his real name or real picture, obviously, because he's a disgusting neckbeard. They exchanged child pornography pictures, and then he started in with the fantasy of having Denali rape and murder someone in Alaska. After Cici's murder, Darren was trying to plan another murder with Denali because she had failed to rape Cici, and that was part of the fetish for him, and so he was mad. He wanted a snuff film.
Oh my god.
Darren used the murder of Cici as blackmail against Denali and told her to sexually assault 2 minor girls.
You weren't evil enough. More evil.
One of those girls was 9, and the other was 15. Denali sent him pictures and videos of the assaults.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to detail these. If you want to find out, you look it up, because I will throw the fuck up.
Yeah.
Just know that it's worse than you think it is.
Oh. Okay.
It is important to note that Denali didn't seem like she was afraid. She seemed like a willing participant who enjoyed what she did, despite the blackmail. During his school years, Darren was bullied, maladjusted. He stole, and when interviewed, all of his former friends, classmates, associates, all of that, they were like, yeah, I'm not really surprised.
Yeah.
Guy was weird.
He should have never been born. Yeah.
He was always asking girls from his school for pictures of them in bikinis. He would then message women he went to high school with and ask for pictures of their children.
Ugh.
Yeah, he was constantly doing, constantly.
What the farts is wrong with him?
Oh, and he tried to play the victim. I'm just sick.
Oh,
it's
no,
not my
you're
fault.
going into space, my dude. You're going into Mel's hole.
You're going into Mel's hole.
Yeah, just throw
Please
him in there.
explain what that is. Nobody knows.
Okay, this is the most obscure reference in all the world. There was a radio show called Coast to Coast with Art Bell, and they would discuss paranormal things, and the show was going on from like the 90s to the early 2000s.
That's true.
And there was one episode, which is probably a prank, about a guy who found like a bottomless pit.
And it had funny noises in it.
And he made up all these stories, and they threw a dead dog down there, and the dog... and the dog comes back alive.
Oh, Mel's hole resurrects dogs.
Yeah, so that's Mel's hole.
You want to throw him into Mel's hole?
Yeah, but maybe you would throw him in alive, he comes out dead.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Anyway, he stole pictures off the internet and catfished people all the fucking time. Now, a fun fact is Alaska is the #1 state for those who fall for romance scams and catfishing. They lonely over there.
Yeah. I think that I read a statistic that isn't like Alaska mostly dudes.
That's why.
Okay.
They're just bricked up, down bad.
Oof.
And then they're like,
Throw
I
Alaska
know
into
this
Mel's
is a
hole."
bot and I do not care.
Just throw the state of Alaska into Mel's hole.
No, we have listeners in Alaska. Be
Oh,
nice.
hi.
Hi, teabags. Don't fall for catfishing.
Or go in the hole. Yeah.
If she's 25 and she looks like a supermodel, she ain't
Doesn't want
real,
you.
and she's not about you.
No.
And if she's asking for your money, well,
Give it to me instead.
yes, give it to me instead. We have a coffee. It's going to be linked in our link tree, and you can go ahead and send that money. You'd send to the Asian girl that doesn't exist, to me, a girl who does exist.
Not Asian. And
Not
a-
Asian,
yeah, or-
not 25, and I'm not going to show you my boobies.
I'll show you mine.
Well, I mean, I will for enough. Let's just be honest. But
Mine are-
anyway,
Yeah,
moving
okay.
on. Once Denali found out that Tyler didn't exist and she'd been catfished, she tried to cut a deal with the prosecution. They didn't care. Denali was the one who came forward to confess to molesting those children and filming it for Darren.
Ugh.
Darren was picked up by the feds because child pornography is a federal crime,
Yeah.
and then extradited to Alaska to stand trial for murder.
Yeah.
And he just admitted everything. He confessed to everything. He
Yeah.
folded like a wet napkin.
Yeah.
Denali got 99 years in prison. Fucking good.
Yeah, right? Stay in there.
Cade McIntosh and Caleb, I could not find out how long their sentences were. Darren Schulmiller pled guilty to solicitation for murder, and he was sentenced to 99 years. He'll die in there. That's good.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, last month, almost like on the day that his daughter died years ago,
Mm.
in June, Timothy Hoffman was killed in a motorcycle accident.
Mm.
But I hope he is with Cici in heaven.
Yeah.
Like, it almost made me cry.
No,
Okay.
that's very sad.
It is very sad. I know this was a shorter case, but I found it to be an interesting case. It's not like any of the other catfishing cases I've heard before.
Yeah.
To where
There's a
the-
lot of crimes in this, I got to admit.
It had more crimes than I thought as
Many
well.
crimes in this episode.
I'm sorry. I know this one was particularly rough.
That's gross. Everyone, ugh.
Maris, if you're like just tuning in, Maris does not like true crime.
I stick to ghosts in my episodes, or 90 Day
Aliens or
Fiance.
something.
Yeah.
Maris, okay, since it's business time, do you want to tell them about your other podcast?
Well, hello. My name is Maris, and I am your husband, and I have my own podcast with you as my co-host.
How the turntables have turned.
There's turntables. I am not a musician, but I am a podcaster. But okay, so I have a podcast called Reality.
Shit. It's
And
a pun.
yeah, and I watch reality TV, but sometimes not. Sometimes it's movies.
Yeah, you can commission him to watch a really crappy movie and then get him to talk about it.
And the show is I just write down my thoughts as I'm watching whatever it is. That's the show.
We just covered an episode of Darcy and Stacy.
Starcy and Daisy.
Yes, that's why I fucked up, because I'm always saying their names.
Which is a
stupid.
spin-off of 90 Day Fiancé.
Yes, and we will be covering one of my favoriteest episodes. God, it's so cringy.
They sing.
They sing. Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
And moving on, in addition, hey, you can join our Patreon. You can buy our merch. You can join our Discord. All things I encourage you to do if you are a fan of this show. Discord's free, of course. Come and talk to me.
Yeah.
And talk to Maris.
Mario.
And sometimes Willow's in there, too.
Yeah, no, she's not Luigi.
No, she is not Luigi. If she was going to be anyone,
short,
she's Wario.
So. Yeah.
That's mean.
Yeah, whatever.
But she's not here to defend herself.
Yeah.
So. Take that, bitch.
Yeah.
And so our Patreon has almost 300 episodes. Just, gosh, I think I looked at it, and it's over 600 hours of content.
Yeah, so go do it.
So go do it. Go
do
listen. And it's cheap, too.
Yeah.
If you're like, hey, Lillian, I'd like to send you dollars to show my support. You can do that on Coffee or PayPal. I'm easy.
All the forms of money.
Indeed, all the money forms.
Yeah.
And if you just want to listen, thank you. That's why we do it. It means a lot to me, your support. If you're on YouTube, hit like, subscribe, and all of that good stuff.
Uh-huh.
And then I'll be happy, and you'll have appeased me.
Yes, appease us.
Appease me.
Yes.
Teabags.
Appease me.
Oh, I like that. It was a little bit sexy. Do you want to play that game later?
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm going to go ahead and go, but I'll make it weird first. I love you.
I don't. Bye.
Imagine me staring directly into your eyes, sweaty, because I'm sweaty in here, because we have to turn the fans off and stuff. And I just go, I love you, really intensely.
I'm never going to say it, Teabags.
He never will.
No.
Doesn't have no love in his heart. He's a hater.
No love in my icy heart.
Really?
Only for you.
Oh. Anyway, I'm going to go.
Go.
I'm going to go and kiss my husband. Goodbye. Us on your social media platform of choice. Linktree/cruelty has all of the links. Check out our Patreon for exclusive episodes, merch, ad-free episodes, live ghost hunts, and much more. Please be sure to subscribe. New episodes are uploaded weekly. Thank you so much. See you next time. Music and production by Libby.